I shared first service that that song is a love song. It's truly a song about our love for Spirit, our love for one another. And it's an awakening and a remembrance of the power and the teachings of Jesus. Jesus was a reminder to all of us to turn on the light of faith and love, to activate it within ourselves so we can do Spirit's work on this planet. That we can have the faith that life is good, no matter how dark things may seem, that we can cut those chains and binds of separation that allow us to come together and remember we're on this planet doing this work together, you and I. Now, this faith that Jesus talked about, he wanted us to get so faithful that we could turn on that faith, that light of love, that faith, just with the same acceptance and trust that we flip the light switch on the wall. That we have the faith that God is always there. Always. And I don't care what you call it, if you call it God, infinite intelligence, creative potential, Spirit, unconditional love. It's all the same thing. You know, I'm going to be talking about mystics today because mystics touch that place, that holiness of life. They know what it means. And no matter what religion these mystics come from, they all speak the same language and tell the same truth. So we know that life is speeding up, and we're called right now to live our life as mystics who live in a deeper understanding of the truth of life, that live immersed in the atmosphere of God, knowing there is no separation. Just as I said, Meister Eckhart said, God is all, and God is in all. It's everywhere. It's all that there is. That energy and vibrancy of aliveness and love. Many, many, many of us in this busy, crazy world, you know, this busy, crazy world have lost the meaning in our life because we're trying to catch up with ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Were you at the mall yesterday? Well, thank God I wasn't, but I heard about it. I mean, we get so busy in life that busyness is something, oh, I'm so busy. It just kind of rolls off our tongue. And that's not what life's all about. Busyness will suck the aliveness and the vibrancy right out of you. It'll take that knowingness and the remembrance of why we're really here and set it aside. It's never ever gone. There's a supreme being, a perfection within us, a divinity in us that is never touched, never lost. But we have to take time to touch it. Jesus spent so much time communing with his own soul. Because when we commune with our own soul and touch that silence, when we stop the chattering mind, okay, I'll get there in a minute, but what is your chattering mind saying to you? Are you listing all you have to do today? Or all the problems you have? Or how things aren't so good? I mean, what's going on? We've got to stop that voice of doubt, fear, busyness, and say, enough. Your time is over. I have a new voice that I'm choosing to listen to. And Dr. Roger was talking about the angels. Angels in our beautiful song. The angels, Ernest Holmes defines angels as God's thoughts passing to man. It takes time to do that. So Jesus communed with his own soul. Because when we commune with our own soul, we feel the vastness of the universe. And we remember that we are one when we're in that place. And that's for you and me to remember to do. Now, one of the mystics I'm going to talk about today is Julian of Norwich. Now, Julian of Norwich was an English mystic. She was an anchoress of her church, which means she totally committed her life to confinement and solitude and prayer. I don't know, it sounds a little boring to me, but I know. Anyway, not all mystics did that, but anyway, so she committed her life to that. We have a picture of her, which we just kind of see on her face who she is. Now, when she was 30 years old, she got a very, very bad illness. In fact, she was so ill they thought she was going to die, and so the priest was sent in to give her her last rites. And as the crucifix was held at the end of her bed, she felt numb and disoriented, and it was kind of that near-death experience time when she was in an altered state. And when she looked at the crucifix, she got a revelation of Jesus, and he started to bleed. And during the next 3 days, she got 16 visitations or revelations from Jesus. And right after those 3 days, she sat down and started writing all about how things changed for her. Because if you've spoken to anyone with a near-death experience, life changes. Once you've touched the other side and the love and the beauty and the peace that is there, your life changes. And so her concept of God, when she touched that place, was God was all compassion and all love. There was no wrath in God. There was no punishment in God. God was compassionate and caring and giving. And you didn't have to ask for forgiveness from God because we've already been forgiven. And she saw this journey of life as a journey which all the mystics did, as a journey of self-discovery, self-knowledge, self-awareness, remembering who we are, which happens when we tap into the silence and touch that divinity within. And she said, which was definitely against the church at the time, the loving God, and also she said that sin, which she defined as all that is not good. So a sin would even be a negative thought about yourself. All that is not good. She said sin is a very, very important part of this human experience. We sin so we can know better. We sin so we can find our path to God. And sin isn't something we need to be forgiven for, except forgiving ourselves, but it's a pathway to something greater. And she also said that sin doesn't usually come from wickedness. It comes from ignorance. And isn't that what Ernest Holmes says? That when we make mistakes, it's because we're ignorant of a greater way, a better way. And until we know better, we won't do better. And that's why we learn and practice and study. And so she was a wonderful mystic who the church just kind of let be. Now, because she was a woman, the women, they're just... The men, they can be the heretics and problems. But anyway, so she did her work and has been acknowledged as a saint by the Episcopal Church, not the Catholic Church, but has been designated as saint, which is beautiful. So she had a lot to teach us about accepting ourselves and all that we are on our pathway to a greater good. Meister Eckhart said, nothing in all creation is as much like God as silence. He said the best way to define God is to remain silent and just tap into the rich wealth within. But he also finished that by saying, stop flapping your gums about God. Stop talking about God and start living the essence and presence. Start living in that truth. Start being that truth. So how do we do that? How do we start being that truth? Well, number one, we got to tell doubt and fear and negativity to just stop it. Just say it. Stop it. I'm done with it. I'm done with you. I know a better way. We do know a better way. We just get lazy sometimes or busy. Busyness keeps us distracted from that sacred time of truth. Because when you tap... Now let me tell you, this time of quiet and communing with God, listening to the angels, the messages of God, isn't just in some religions, it's in most faiths. It's a Buddhist path. It's the contemplative prayer of Christianity. It's in Judaism, Sufism, Taoism. It just unifies all the teachings that we must take time to be silent. So in these holy holidays, when the darkest time of the year is on its way, it's a time for us to make peace and get clear with ourselves. get clear. The teachings of the mystics are leading us and guiding us to that place where we can just live in a state of remembrance, and when we forget, we get up so much faster. Now, the Upanishad is a mystical teaching. Mystical teaching. The Upanishads are the ancient texts that say the philosophy of the Hindu tradition. They say the Father and I are one, God is all there is, the kingdom of heaven is here right now. Sounds pretty mystical to me. But the Upanishads, just like Jesus taught in parables, taught in stories, and there's many wonderful stories in the Upanishads. And one of the stories talks about something that is really one of the quickest ways for us to remember who we are. You see, consciousness is all there is. Awareness is all there is. Ernest Holmes said everything is an outpicturing of our consciousness. So if your life isn't going the way you want, check your consciousness. Where's your point of consciousness? Is it in the external world of the problems and the difficulties? Or is your point of consciousness remembering there's a perfection, a divinity, and a peace no matter what's happening? Julian of Norwich lived in one of the most tumultuous times. It doesn't matter what's happening out here. It's what's happening in here. And when we can build the strength of that connection to spirit in here, things change. So in this story from the Upanishads, a father is talking to his son, and he says to the son, "Son, what did you learn at the ashram today?" And the son said, "Oh, Dad, I learned everything I need to know." The dad went, "Oops, he didn't quite get it. There's something greater and bigger, Brahman. There's something he's forgetting." So he said, "Son, I want you to get me a pitcher filled with water and bring it here." So the dutiful son did that. "And get me some salt." Son did that. "Now put the salt in the water." Poured the salt in the water. "And now, just let's put the pitcher away and then bring it to me in the morning." So in the morning, the son comes and brings the pitcher of water to the father. And the father said, "Well, what do you see? Where's the salt?" And the son looks and said, "Well, it's not there. I guess it dissolved. I can't see it. It's gone." And the father said, "I want you to take your finger and touch the top of the water and taste it." And he did. "What do you taste?" "Oh, it's salty." "And touch the bottom of the water." He did. Taste it. "What do you taste?" "It's salty." And the father said, "Yes, you cannot see it, but it's still there. It's everywhere. It's in all of it. The same with Brahman, God consciousness, supreme being, creative intelligence. It's everywhere present, even when we can't see it." And so for you and me, the invitation is to loosen our consciousness, to let go, to open up to that presence that's always there, always there. How many of you, especially in the holiday seasons, are waiting for a miracle? Oh, come on, put your hand. We all are waiting for a miracle. Yeah, that's why we play the lottery and do all those things. But anyway, we're waiting for a miracle. But I'm going to tell you, we have to participate in the miracle. We can't just expect it. We've got to be actively involved in the miracle consciousness. We have to do our part. Ernest Holmes said the greatest mental practice we can do is connecting with the divine presence within. Honoring it and recognizing it. That's the greatest practice we can do. Julian of Norwich said, prayer is the will of God. We are here to commune and talk with God. I will say prayer and spiritual practice is our responsibility to strengthen those practices. Now, meditation, how many of you meditate? Do you meditate? Yeah, for long periods of time. Not in that little box, I hope. But anyway, meditation doesn't all of a sudden give us flashes of something that wasn't already there. It just expands our awareness so we can bring in what's already present. You know, I went to see my mentor this week. Kirk and I did up in Oregon, and it was a beautiful experience. That's all I can say right now. And there was great transformation that happened for me. And I mentioned to Michael Paul, I was listening to him on YouTube last night singing "Oh Holy Night," just preparing, and I had just from just the whole series of events, a wonderful opening, a healing of something I didn't even know either could be healed or I had it there to heal. And what Dr. Jackie gave me was a little meditation I'd like to give to you. It only takes 2 minutes, and we can do it every day. But if you do it, cool things will happen. So I'm going to invite you just to get into that quiet place. And you know the drill. Unwrap yourself, be open and available, loosen up your consciousness, your awareness, and take a nice deep breath. Breath is the invitation to the soul, an invitation for connection. I just invite you to keep breathing and loosening and opening. And then visualize in your mind's eye the smiling face of a loved one that has gone on before you. The happy, joyful face, laughing, that's there with you right now. And feel the warmth of the light of spirit as it just touches your third eye right between your eyes, and it warms and welcomes both you and who's with you. Both of you or all of you if there are more. And just sit and be in that presence. And allow whatever to appear. Open. Expand. Listen to the angels sing. Let whatever wants to show up. If you do this practice every day, just for a few minutes, you are strengthening the connection with the place of perfection within, so the inner becomes like the outer. Julian of Norwich also said that Jesus is a great teacher for all. Jesus' message was love, is love. And love is the meaning of God. So as we touch into these places beyond our human self, we learn what we need to know and we expand into that recognition of love. So take a nice deep breath and bid whatever adieu, whatever farewell is necessary right now. This may keep unfolding throughout the day. It may keep giving you the little songs of angels as you complete your day. And I invite you to make this a practice, a 2-minute practice, to keep strengthening that connection. Hildegard of Bingen was another 13th century mystic who had a different experience in life. She was a great thinker, a writer, a theologian, a messenger of the time. She was a superior nun in her order, and she taught and she wrote, and wow, she was busy, but good busy. And she had so much beauty to say. Again, she still took time to connect and commune with her soul. And she has some beautiful messages that I'd like to carry to the end of this time today together. She said, everything that is in the heavens, on the earth, and under the earth is penetrated with relatedness. God has arranged everything in the universe in consideration of everything else. Everything is created with a consciousness of how we are all related, meaning we are here for one another. We belong. Ernest Holmes says you have to court the divine. You have to see it in the budding rose, the babbling brook. You have to see it in the difficulties and problems. Find and court divinity wherever you are. We have to participate in our own miracle making. We have to be the ones that can be there and know a greater good. I'd like to close this day in prayer. I'd like for us to know without question that right now this is the moment for us to all raise to our mystical experience. So let's just join in prayer right now. As we breathe in and know that right here, right now, this is the moment. In this moment right here is the time to awaken, to communicate, to unite with that power and presence of goodness, of love, of guidance and wisdom and inspiration that reside within. To build that inner house so strong that we know how to get there, to be there, to live there in a place of peace and love and gratitude and forgiveness for ourselves and for others. When we allow this moment to be the time, which this moment keeps being the moment, when we allow it to be the time that we expand and grow in our connection with all that is good and right and true, when we allow this moment to be the moment that you and I join together in consciousness to bring a new way of life to this world, where we unite in knowing that we're not here by accident, we are here on purpose. There's meaning within us, there's purpose within us, there's power within us to go out and do our work in wonderful ways, to be the hands, the light, the love, the face, the joy of Spirit expressing, to be the ones that know, oh my gosh, I can make the difference. I can be the one. I listen to the messages of God as the songs and sounds of angels in my innermost being. And I allow those messages to guide and direct and infuse my life with the goodness that is ever present. And if you're next to somebody, just take the hand of the person next to you and send that same blessing and goodness. You are here on purpose. You matter. You make a difference. And let that circle around this room. You are loved and loving and lovable right now, no matter what has brought you to this moment. You are deserving of all the love there is, all the goodness there is. Raise that consciousness to the place of mystical thinking where there is no separation. There is only the one. And as we do that together in this moment and in every moment, we know that we ignite this holiday season with the holiness it deserves. We ignite it with the miracle that we are. And let that light of the miracle essence of our being resonate and unite with all the other lights. That we see us as this beautiful strand of the lights we see at this holiday time. And we know if there is a light that has gone out, we can give it a twist, a smile, a love, and allow it to be reignited as it remembers who it is and the purpose and meaning of this world in which we live. Oh, and as we have these hands, let's just say thank you for being in this community together. Thank you for being part of the InSpirit consciousness that says yes, right here, right now. In this moment, to be the support and get support, to be in the beautiful flow and dance of life together. How good it is to be a part of the unfolding expression of love. We say thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And together we say, and so it is. And thank each and every one of you for being who you are. I love you deeply. And so it is. Thank you. I love you.